I'm being told to go to the hotline that our guest has called in. Our guest
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Is this Gregg Turkington?
Hey, guys. Yeah, hey. It sure is.
How are you tonight, Gregg?
Good. Good to talk to you, Tom. I know you're a friend of the movies, so it's always nice to share my expertise with you and maybe get some trivia back in return.
Yeah, it's a fun... It's that time, and I want to let everybody know we have Gregg Turkington, who is, you know him from On Cinema at the Cinema.
On Cinema at the Cinema, and then, of course, I became the first movie critic to then have a successful acting career with Heidecker and Ant-Man. So it had never been done, and it's really exciting to break new ground.
It is, and I was cut out of Ant-Man. You made it all the way through. My scene got cut.
Well, watch it again. Maybe you're in there. You never know.
I don't think they went and re-added it. I think I'm a part of Ant-Man history. I'm a trivia question in Ant-Man history. So, but Gregg...
Well, sometimes you think you watch a movie and you miss some of the details. I would watch it again a couple times and really squint and see if you see yourself, because I've missed details. Some of these Bond movies have such complicated plots, and it really takes 10 viewings to really take it all in.
Before you can really feel like you can talk the talk with the Bond movie.
Yeah, I mean, the Bond community are friendly people, and there's no jockeying for position in that community. Everybody's pretty open as far as talking the talk. I've talked to 5-year-old kids that I thought had a very good basic gist of what Bond is about, you know what I mean? So there's no snobbery in that world. It's not like that. Movie people are good people.
Movie people are good people, and this, of all the seasons, this is what many consider to be the prime movie-going season, the summer.
And one of the best years, too, I think, on record, has been 2017 in terms of just the big blockbusters. You still get the smaller films like The Circle with Emma Watson, which is a Oscar pick for me. But in terms of the big blockbusters, nothing is really going to top the 1-2 punch of the Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell Tall Tales, and The Mummy. That has made it a very exciting summer.
It really draws kind of like a "can you top this" kind of line.
And they will.
And they
will.
I guess that's what
Hollywood always does.
They always manage to top it. So right now you feel that if you were a betting man, you would say the Pirates movie and the Mummy had what it takes to be like the champions of 2017 so far?
And the Decker movie that's been airing in segments on Adult Swim as well, I would add to that trilogy, would probably be the 3 best and biggest ratings, best reviews, and just most action-packed movies so far this year.
Yeah, this season of Decker is probably has some of the most out and out, like the most relentless action that Decker has ever had.
That's right. And we have code-breaking sequences that are winning awards left and right. People are spellbound by those because in addition to showing how the spies really do it and sort of giving you insight into how it's done in the field, there's also movie trivia built into those sequences, which makes them a lot of fun for movie buffs, and that's a big part of our audience.
Yeah, you really keep... that's interesting. I did not think about it from that angle, is that you're really always working to have that angle covered, that for fans, I guess they can watch the show as the show, but movie fans get the nod to cinema and to the love of movies.
that's how I do it. And it's the funnest job I've ever had is working some of those little movie tidbits into the codes, and those are the most popular sequences this season. So,
is there one that you feel, one kind of movie reference that might have gone over people's heads?
No, because people that watch the show tend to really care about the movies, and so I think they get it. And if they don't, then they can look it up online or get books. There's a book called The Film Buff's Checklist that I always recommend that lists all the titles and gives a rating, 1 to 10 rating for each movie, and it's really informative. And this, the thing that's crazy though right now, that's kind of, I don't know if it's upsetting me, but this Mummy movie, which I think is the best of the Mummy movies, and that's going all the way back to 1940 with The Mummy's Hand. But this Mummy movie, it's supposed to be the beginning of Universal's new campaign to have something called the Dark Universe, where they're bringing back all these classic movie monsters. But the only problem there is that Decker actually did that already a few months ago with Decker versus Dracula. And it just seems very strange to me that when we brought back on Decker versus Dracula, not only the Mummy, coincidentally or not, but also the Wolfman and Frankenstein. And then suddenly, after Decker versus Dracula goes viral, suddenly Universal is like, oh, well, let's bring back those characters ourselves. Let's bring back the classic monsters. It would be distressing, except it's kind of a tip of the hat to what we're doing with Decker, and especially what I was doing with Decker versus Dracula. So it's kind of exciting in another way, but it's not something you're going to sue over, but it definitely they've crossed the line, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess it's that it comes down to that old thing about you steal from the best. Isn't it? There's like a statement about the making of art that has something to do with stealing from the best, like the best steal and the something. I'm bad with.
Yeah, and I don't want to accuse Universal of stealing, but it's just a little curious. That's all I'm saying. It's just a little curious. And they did have. I'm going to give them that. Give them this. Is in the Mummy movie. If you've seen the movie, Russell Crowe is excellent as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He plays both parts. I mean, you can't even tell it's the same person some of the time. He's really, really good. And so we haven't done anything with Jekyll and Hyde. So they put their own twist on it, I guess.
So they did find some angles that they could definitely call their own. Yeah, they did, and that's kind of cool. But I don't know if have you seen The Mummy yet, Tom? I have not seen The Mummy.
A couple times.
I have not made it out yet to see The Mummy.
Well, you got to see it. You got to see it. I know you're busy with the radio and all that, but you got to see The Mummy.
I mean, I'm hearing pretty good things about The Mummy. It's just there's a lot of movies I really don't want to miss because you're one of the biggest proponents of this, and I should say we have Gregg Turkington on the show right now. He is one of the hosts of On Cinema at the Cinema, Adult Swim's On Cinema at the Cinema, and is also co-creator.
Also the star of Adventures of Decker and Kingston, which is on Adult Swim television.
Yeah, which is actually just people should search for Decker, though it's not the Adventures of Decker. Just Decker is the straight title for it.
That's like the abbreviated title. Yeah. Like Mission Impossible is M:I, and that's the way Decker is, because both characters are pretty important to the show's success and just moving the plots along, and especially saving the day or saving the planet from destruction. When you have a code breaker come in and do that kind of, you don't always need to shoot somebody. Sometimes they'll put it in the script anyway because the star, the co-star decides he wants to shoot people because he thinks it makes them look tough. But the code breaking is really all that's needed, I think, a lot of times.
I always look at as what you and Tim Heidecker, who plays Decker on Decker, I always look at it as the kind of thing where it's like a brains versus brawn kind of thing, where your character Kington works with your brain, and Decker is more about the like using his hands and his body and all of the to solve what he has to.
That's a great analysis. I think that's 100% true. And that's one of the reasons that the show's so successful, I think.
Now, when you're doing Decker, it's you and it's Tim, but you guys have a pretty thrilling world of other characters and actors. What is it like for you? You're an actor at this point. You were in Marvel's Ant-Man, and you're a legitimate actor. But what is it like to work with some of the other actors who've had these very storied careers?
Well, yeah, like Joe Estevez, of course, is absolutely the most professional actor you would ever meet. Comes in, knows all his lines. Nobody else can do it like he can in terms of, some of those are very talky episodes, especially when he's addressing Congress, and he just comes in and nails it, and he's got stories of working on all kinds of films that you've seen, like Little Lost Sea Serpent or Apocalypse Now, just different films that I've seen over the years that I've loved. We had Jimmy McNichol on this season, playing the son of Dracula. And that was, an interesting character for him to do. I don't think he'd ever played a vampire before. But, of course, Jimmy had a great movie career in his own right. We had Joey Travolta, who was in Beverly Hills Cop 3, did a lot of other movies and TV shows and things. And he played Judge Buchanan, who is one of the most interesting judges, I think, that you've ever seen on TV. And we might be seeing more of the Judge Buchanan character because it was very, very popular.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and you also had Denny Lane on. And
that's funny because I don't know if you saw the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell Tall Tales, but they had Paul McCartney from Wings, and we came out a couple weeks later, and we had Denny Lane from Wings. And I got to say, as great as Paul was, I think Denny was better in our film. It was a better role, and I think he did a better job than Paul did. So, compare them and see what you think. And, of course, both men collaborated to do the theme song in one of my favorite Bond movies, Live and Let Die, which was Denny and Paul's Wings.
Yeah,
that song.
That was a huge hit, and one of the biggest Bond themes of all of the Bond movies. That was definitely one of the biggest themes. I think that was not a number one hit, though. Not a number one hit.
It was probably number one, but I'd have to look it up.
Mm-hmm. It's
and then. But, those are, we work with a lot of great celebrities. That's why I feel kind of weird coming to you tonight. The reason that I wanted to call in was with sort of some celebrity gossip, which...
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that interests you or not, but...
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
What is the gossip?
This is strange, but there's a guy, there's a celebrity, he's an actor, has been in films like The Fantastic Four, and he is also a movie critic, anyway, he's supposed to be, legitimate movie critic. He's the co-star of On Cinema at the Cinema, Tim Heidecker, and he has not seen The Mummy. He's not seen it. And he's supposed to be a big Tom Cruise head. He named his son after Tom Cruise, but what's the point of naming your kid Tom Cruise if you can't be bothered to go see one of the top 3 Tom Cruise movies of all time? What's the point, anyway, I think it's interesting, and I would probably take his movie reviews with a grain of salt, knowing this.
Because
in the future,
is that because of like a lack of dedication to the to the genre of
a lack? I mean, he's had problems with drugs, and he's going to go on trial for murder and this sort of thing. So I guess he's got his hands full. That's probably his excuse. But I mean, it takes 2 hours out of your day to go see The Mummy. I've seen it 3 or 4 times already, and I know that he doesn't have a regular job, so he should be able to find the time to go see The Mummy. Mm-hmm. And to pretend otherwise, like he's been doing online and telling mutual friends, I'm hearing that he's saying, when they ask him, have you seen The Mummy? He's like, oh, yeah, I saw it, but like changing the subject really quickly. Mm-hmm. And I have absolute proof that he has not seen The Mummy. Absolute proof. Because I don't care what he said. He gets a list, he goes and looks at the movie poster at the store or whatever and writes down a couple of the actors' names and then says, oh, yeah, I saw it. It stars Sophia Boutella or whatever. But that's not seeing the movie. That's seeing the poster or seeing the trailer for it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, that is. What is this? Hey, Jason? Mike's telling me to do this other line here while Gregg is on 3. So this is...
You can just take that one later.
But that... Well, no, I'm being told to just... Yeah. If I do that and that? Yeah, they should be... Okay. Best show? Hello?
Yeah, hi, Tom. It's Tim Heidecker calling in. I checked in, listened to what... Do you have Gregg there?
Gregg?
Yeah.
Listen, here. This is bull. You should cut him off because he's been pulling this thing about for the past 3 days now, going on wherever he can get himself heard on the internet, on Twitter and everything, creating this rumor, this junk that I haven't seen The Mummy.
Truth.
No, it's not true. And I've proved it online. And I apologize for calling in like this and getting hot about this, but I can't sit here and listen to this guy get on your radio show and start just making stuff up out of whole cloth. So I'm asking you, Tom, to hang up on this loser. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And
I have seen The Mummy. I have absolute 100% certifiable proof that you have not seen The Mummy.
How can you have 100%. Proof that I all right, fine. What is the evidence that you have that I didn't see The Mummy?
All right.
I want to know, because how do you prove that I haven't seen... What if I just saw it 2 minutes ago?
That's a fair point.
It wouldn't be ending at 7 o'clock.
What is it?
Because it's not a round number. If they started at 5 o'clock, it would be more likely to end at 7:12 or something.
What is the evidence that you've been talking so all weekend about, that you have evidence
I can prove that you've never seen it.
Go prove it.
I can prove it. I have a friend named Merrill. I have a friend named Merrill who's a retiree, works at Pacific Theater, which is a 4-minute walk from where you're staying. And I checked that on Google Maps. 4-minute walk. And the next closest theater that's showing The Mummy, is like 7 miles away. So there's no way you're going to go 7 miles when there's something you can walk to in 4 minutes. And if you're driving, it's a 1-minute drive. So this guy, Merrill, is retired. He works 7 days a week. He works the full afternoon into the late shifts. And I know for a fact you don't wake up until 3 o'clock, so I'm not concerned about the 11 a.m. matinees. You would never be there. He has been taking the tickets at The Mummy the whole time. I've talked to him several times because I've gone there. I've seen it.
Okay. This is circumstantial evidence. Go ahead.
And he said that you have never set foot in there to see The Mummy. And he's seen you come in for other movies over the years, but he says you did not come in even once for The Mummy. And I know that's the theater that you
Hold on. I want to turn it to Tom, because I believe, Tom, that you would be an impartial judge here. You would be a mediator if this ever went to that place. Or
Sure.
Based on what Gregg just told you, is that evidence, is that proof that I have not seen The Mummy? Yes or no?
That his friend Merrill works?
Yeah, that he didn't happen to see me when I went to go see The Mummy, which I did.
Yeah, but he's the ticket taker. He's the one that would take your ticket.
He's lying.
Well, if you can't get into the movie without a ticket, if that's the guy, he's actually holding the evidence.
By the way,
and he's not holding a ticket that you gave him because you never went to it.
You had your time. You had your time. This, by the way, this false accusation, this mudslinging is coming from a guy who has admitted to not seeing Sully when that came out. And he ended up going on my show.
5 times.
Hold on. He came on my show, and he went and lied to my audience and said that he saw that.
You said I would be kicked out on cinema if I didn't tape that confession. That was coercion. I did not. That was a lie. You said I could not do any more reviews on your show if I didn't say that.
You got to rein this in here.
I saw Sully.
Okay.
You made me do
that. You got to
that.
rein this in. I got to get my word in.
All right. An initial, I would say that to be fair to Tim, Greg, it is not ironclad proof because Merrill didn't see Tim. There are a lot of theaters playing The Mummy, but no, I also, I mean, you could also, there have to be other ways of testing Tim's, I don't know.
Ask me anything you want to know about The Mummy, because I like I said, I've seen it 3 times now. I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I love horror movies. Of course I saw it. And he goes online and runs my name through mud. Okay? And I'm pissed. So,
all right,
I
want to know what the name of Tom Cruise's character is.
Tom Cruise's character in The Mummy?
Yeah.
Nick Morton.
Is it The Mummy?
Yes. No, his character name was Nick Morton. He was a U.S. military officer who accidentally unearthed the tomb of Princess Ahmed, and that sets off the whole show. That sets off the whole movie. So, you know, what else?
Well, I mean, I do have to say that it sounds like you were reading that.
Yeah. It does.
I'm not reading anything. I know. Listen, I didn't memorize this. I didn't read the script. I don't know I don't have the script in front of me. What I'm doing is going by memory from what I remember seeing. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. Now, this is all right. Sideshow. It's a sideshow.
The Mummy, then, is the Mummy Tom Cruise?
Okay, first of all, you think I'm going to go and spoil that for Tom here? Not Tom Cruise, but Tom Scharpling here, who has admitted that he hasn't even seen that. He hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah, but I
so now I'm going to go on his show and ruin the ending and give him information that's going to make him have a worse time at the theater. Why would you do that?
Just
Why would
that.
you want
He's probably seen it.
Tom, do you want me to see the ending?
Look, I haven't seen. You know what? Honestly, for the sake of you two, who are the hosts of On Cinema at the Cinema on Adult Swim, even though
it's really I'm sorry, Tom, but it's such a sideshow for him to come at me hard like this, because what
happens in the plane sequence? What happens in the sequence with the airplane? Tell us about that scene.
Which one? I mean, are you kidding me?
Any of them. If there are more than one. Are there more than one? How many plane sequences are there, and what happened?
Well, let me ask you this. Was Sully guilty or found innocent? Answer that. You won't.
He was found innocent.
In the end of Sully.
Well, I bring that up because Mr. He has evidence that I didn't see The Mummy is on record as not seeing Sully. So, listen, like I said, I love these movies. I'm not, studying them I'm not majoring in what The Mummy is about in college. No, I did watch it, Greg. And the whole idea for you coming on and promoting this, completely unauthorized.
Who did Michael Caine play?
Theory.
What role did Michael Caine play? Jekyll or Hyde?
No, Michael Caine's not in The Mummy. I'm not stupid. Okay? Now, and by the way,
but Michael Caine did play Jekyll and Hyde in 1990. And you didn't know that either because you don't know movie trivia.
I'm not. That's not my entitlement. I'm not in charge of knowing. That's why I have you on the show as a guest.
Look,
and you're so jealous of the success that Decker has, and no one cares. Everyone writes me every day saying, Can we lose Kingston? Why did you bring that character back? He slows the
If you
show
lose
down.
Kingston, the Decker dies every up because Decker would be dead. Kingston has saved your neck.
It's such baloney. It's junk. And Tom, I'm ashamed that you have a guy like this on. Honestly,
Well, I mean, I'm a fan. It's the summer, and it's the summer movie season, and I wanted to talk to someone who's an expert on summer movies, and the first name that comes to mind is Gregg.
Well, he brings up the pirate movie, which was a flop. You can look that up. It was a flop, and it's terrible what's happening with Johnny Depp right now, and I'm so sad for him because he's such a good guy, and I'm watching this guy fall apart before my eyes. I was actually friends with him for a while when he was living not far up from the Sunset Strip. I partied with him. He's a good guy, and he's in over his head with the political stuff, and I feel bad for him, and his movie sunk. It sunk the box office. It probably ruined the summer for the big blockbuster movies.
Huge
and then you have this guy.
hit.
You have this guy come out, Greg. You have Gregg Turkington come on and start talking about how it's the movie of the summer. Well, that's insulting to people that actually know what they're talking about, and it's hurtful to Johnny Depp because it seems like you're making fun of him. That's all I'm saying. Well, and if he's going to slander my name on your show, then we're going to have big problems. You understand?
First of all, Tim, how is your face doing?
It's fine. I've never been better. Okay, I'm healthy. I'm clean. I'm preparing for what is going to be the trial of my life.
Prepare for jail.
No. Cut his mic because
Okay, well, in a nutshell, can either one of you explain this upcoming legal matter?
I can very quickly. We had a wonderful festival of music a few months ago. We had an issue at the festival, a technical issue.
Not we. I had nothing to do with that death trap.
No, we had a small technical issue. Unfortunately, we had turned out to be a discredited doctor, Dr. Sand, who I had a very tangential relationship with. Turned out to be a nut, and he ended up, unfortunately, hit a vape giveaway planned that I didn't know about, and that some kids got hurt basically using these vape, which turns out to be, I think, accidental, but there's still some technically some liability for the festival organizers, of which I am one of many. So that's the nutshell.
Okay.
And Tim's going to go to jail for 20 counts of murder. That's the summation of the whole thing.
Well, I'm not speaking to that, and I'm my lawyer's begging me not to even be on the air talking about this. But
if that's
that
the
has
case,
nothing to do with it.
You have plenty of time to see the Mummy
in jail.
In jail. I mean, I'm trying to bring some levity to this.
Well, it's not funny, Tom. And if somebody was going on the airwaves, radio airwaves, and slandering your name, I think first of all you'd have a big problem with the guest. And I think you'd almost have a bigger problem with the host. And I think it would become
Escape
an
from
issue
Alcatraz.
where...
Have you seen that one? Tom, have you seen Escape from Alcatraz or Cool Hand Luke?
Of course.
So these are these movies... I mean, Tim, and look...
No, but I just thought, Tom, I don't know what gives you the right to broadcast.
Because I'm the host of this show is what gives me the right to broadcast.
Well, yes, but are you going to have somebody on just defaming people all day? I mean, slander, and that's why there's laws.
Of course there's laws. Of course there's laws. But all he's saying is that, in his opinion, I don't think he's speaking for anybody other than himself, that he feels you didn't see the Mummy movie.
No, he said he has evidence to prove that I didn't see it.
do.
See, that's the kind of talk that you're putting on your radio.
Do you have other evidence then, Greg?
Well, he can't answer my question about the plane sequence.
Tim,
this is what's fascinating. This is what's fascinating. Is Tom Scharpling starts backing off, supporting this crazy, kooky conspiracy theory because suddenly he's worried about how I'm going to handle this 2, 3, 4 steps.
Look, you are not the guest tonight. No offense, Tim. Greg is the guest.
But I'm the focus because Greg brought me into this. He said my name, and instead of hanging up on him as you should have, as you legally should have.
Legally? Legally,
yes,
I should have.
Because I am not authorized to be discussed on the show. I'm not authorized to be discussed.
I didn't realize I needed authorization
There's
to.
a perimeter, and there are boundaries by which you can speak about me and of me. And Gregg knows that, and he can look at the contracts he signed, which allows him to be part of the On Cinema family.
Well, that's between you and him, Tim. I didn't sign anything.
Well, yes, but you are part and parcel to this whole mess.
Then I guess in terms of if you're going to take me to court, I guess I should just take a number because you're going to be doing a fair amount of time at the courthouse.
So there's another slanderous remark, and it's going. Obviously, this stuff's being recorded. I'm going to
it definitely is.
Go back and listen to all this.
It's being broadcast
Greg,
right now.
By the way, you're in hot water. Greg, you're in hot water too.
Well, Tim,
I wouldn't think that Gregg's out of the woods either.
Well, all of this can be cleared up if you just tell Gregg, walk Gregg through what happened in one of the plane sequences in The Mummy.
Listen, it's such a sideshow. Whether I saw The Mummy or not is irrelevant to this conversation.
To the question of whether or not you saw The Mummy, it's very relevant.
Just
no,
10 seconds.
This all stems from jealousy.
Well, why don't you then be the bigger person and clear it up?
Is Tom Cruise the Mummy, or is a woman the Mummy?
I don't see. I don't even know if I'm in. I don't know if I can even discuss that right now.
Well, this sounds a little. I gotta say, I was trying to be as impartial as I can be. Tim, it really sounds like you're hemming and hawing here, like you did not see The Mummy. I'm going back on what I had said. Based on Merrill tearing tickets, yes, I said that's not a good yardstick for whether you...
What about the fact that Russell Crowe? What about the fact that Russell Crowe is in The Mummy? How am I going to know that if I don't show up? He plays Dr. Jekyll.
Who else?
So, by the way, here's some stuff Gregg doesn't know. Directed by Alex Kurtzman, written by David Koepp, Kristen McQuarrie, and Dylan Kussman. All right?
I know that. I already knew that.
Oh, it's theatrically released in the United States on June 9th, 2017.
You're definitely reading that. That doesn't prove you saw the movie.
No. It proves you didn't see the movie.
Tim, I got to say, this is not a good look for you, Tim, as people say. It's just not a good look.
You know what? At least I'm the only guy on this call who's willing to defend himself and willing to stick up for himself.
Okay, well, you're also
bow down and bow. Okay, bulldozed over by you guys.
You're also the only guy on this call who's being accused of things.
Well, why am I being accused of? It's my right. By the way, it's my right to not see The Mummy as well. If you study the Constitution,
well, then you shouldn't be a movie critic. Then you should stop pretending to be a movie critic.
I mean, just clear the air here?
You're talking about the biggest film of the year, and you can't even go see it? What kind of critic is that?
Well, Gregg...
Driscoll and Ebert would be at the movies the day they came out, or sneak priews of it.
Gregg,
they don't wait till they're in jail.
Is there a larger issue here, Gregg? They don't wait till they're in their
cell to watch the movie.
Gregg, that was a low blow. I got to stick up for Tim on that, to say to wait till he's in his cell to see the movie. That's... first of all, I doubt he's going to have an individual television screen in his cell.
No.
I mean, I guess it would be in the common area.
Not for the counts that I'm up against. But no, go ahead, Tom. I know you want to say something here.
Is there a larger thing? Is there something that goes beyond this Mummy movie, Gregg, that you're angry about? It seems like this is a little. Even if Tim didn't see the movie and was still trying to pass himself off as if he had seen it. It feels like this runs a little deeper than just whether or not he saw the movie The Mummy.
Well, yeah, it runs deeper in that he basically at gunpoint had me tape this weird video saying that I had not seen Sully, even though everyone knows I'd seen it, and I had seen it, and I had produced ticket stubs, and I'd actually been at a critics sneak preview with other critics several days before it came out, and which was photo documented, and I saw the movie all in all 4 or 5 times, and he made me film this thing to put on cinema saying I hadn't seen it at all under threat of me not being allowed on the on cinema program anymore, which is he knows is very important not only to me but to all the viewers who need actual movie expertise, which you can't get on the show unless I'm there because Tim doesn't even watch the movies.
Well, I'll say this. it's clearly a sign of somebody who's vengeful and jealous and sad and really kind of pathetic and desperate for attention and desperate
Says
to
someone
hurt
who
me,
just
even though
killed
I've given him
20
every
kids.
opportunity.
Says somebody who just killed 20 kids.
No, that's okay. Well, listen, I'll say it one more time. It's irrelevant whether or not I saw The Mummy or not. I happen to have seen it, so we can clear that up. And I hope, you can just, Tom, use your better judgment next time, and before you bring on people that start talking out of their rear about stuff they don't know anything about.
I didn't realize.
Rageaholic.
Let's try to find the silver lining in this. Is there something?
Well, new Decker's on this Sunday at midnight on Adult Swim. Last episode was the best episode yet. Check it out on AdultSwim.com. I put everything into this show. I put my heart, my soul, my music. It's wall-to-wall music from Dakar and DKR, and there's all kinds of characters in it. There's small parts. There's just it's a lot of fun. This new episode features one of my great friends, Manuel, from the hit rock group Dakar. And
which is your band.
His band that nobody likes.
Well,
wait, nobody likes. I thought I was under the impression that Dakar and DKR, which is what, your DJ?
It's an EDM project. It's an offshoot of Dakar, featuring Axiom on who generates beats occasionally with me, but largely it's my project.
Now, which one of the two donated the skin to you?
Manuel did. That was, he's sort of my brother now, literally, we share skin, and he donated some skin from his back, lower back, and
don't talk about music.
Okay. Well, he asked. I'm only answering the question.
Okay. Well, let's find a nut. What, Tim and Greg, I want you to each think of a nice thing you can say to the other.
Well, I've always said this. The guy knows everything about movies, which is, almost the sign of a psychopath. But I retract that.
That's not nice. That you call
that's right. Well, it is odd.
Yeah, as opposed to somebody that murders people. I'm a psychopath because I know about James Bond movies. You killed 20 people. That's a psychopath. Someone that murders 20 people is a psychopath, officially.
You're acting like, excuse me, Greg, you're acting like I went into the crowd with a machete and started chopping people's heads off. Okay?
Well, you gave us tainted drugs that you shouldn't be giving to underage kids anyway.
Are you going to give something nice like the host here, Tom, asked for, or not?
Yes, I'm going to say I think Tim Heidecker is great in the role of Decker, and I think that and I've said this before, I think that if the current James Bond retires, that they should bring Tim in and consider him to be Bond in future movies, because I think he really pulls off the spy thing very convincingly, and he's very charismatic as Jack Decker, and I've always said that.
Well, that's a nice thing.
I appreciate that.
That's a nice thing, and Tim, if you could kind of separate out you calling Greg a psychopath, it's a very nice thing to say.
It's eccentric. I will say it's eccentric to know so much about movies and care about what year The Man with One Red Shoe came out and all that crap. And the way he collects tapes and numbers them, it's a sign of a mental issue. But we don't have to. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing.
No. Of course. Why would it doesn't sound like it's it doesn't sound like you're making.
That's like saying some college professor who's an expert in the Roman era is a psycho because that's their specific interest and they have a lot of expertise to share. So they're not a psycho, are they? They're a successful professor.
Well, look, let me say, we've already gone long on this segment because it was supposed to be a quick movie, summer movie update, and now it's turned into a real smear of who knows what. I guess we'll have to unpack what this was. What, Decker, there's a couple more episodes of Decker for this season?
There's 8 more.
8 more.
8 more. Wow, 8 more. And then what's next for Tim Heidecker and Gregg Turkington?
Tim's going on trial.
I'm going on trial in the fall, and hopefully, you know, the jury of my peers out there who I, you know, respect and everything, hopefully are just going to find the answer that I'm hoping for, which is full acquittal. And we can get back to making more Decker and reviewing movies on Cinema, and join the On Cinema family. I know, Tom, you're a Patreon guy. We've got a Patreon set up so we can bring you a new Oscar special for 2018, a live Oscar special. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. I think that the trial is going to be looked back on as a technicality, as sort of a blip, and I'm excited to get past that. And
great.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And See the Mummy. I'll leave you with 3 words.
See the Mummy.
See the Mummy.
Okay. Well, that's
great movie. Loved it.
I'm a fan of everything
Take care.
you both do. It's an honor to have you both on, and thank you, my guest, Gregg Turkington, and thank you for the call, jumping onto the segment, Tim Heidecker.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but thanks, Tom.
Of course, and I
Bye.
guess we'll talk to you guys soon.